John and Nadya Melton coming to you live. I hope everybody is excited about this conversation of outsourcing because this literally changed our lives. And I still remember coming across the book, The 4-Hour Workweek, and even though it was totally overwhelming, we got excited about some of the concepts, and that was kind of what pointed us in the right direction when it comes to outsourcing and using international support, having different types of contractors on different projects and hiring virtual assistants and just really embracing the fact that if we wanted to build a big business, but we also wanted a life, hence My Lifestyle Academy, we needed to figure out a way to leverage ourselves and build an actual company. You know, so there's a little bit of a different mindset here than maybe if you're just like a network marketer just trying to build a downline.
I think it's perfect to kick it off with this, but how many of you can totally relate to this where you feel like you're doing everything, you feel like you have a never-ending to-do list, and maybe you even feel guilty when you're building your business because you're thinking in your head, oh my gosh, my kids need attention, or I haven't spent that quality time with my husband. And then vice versa, when you're hanging out with your family, you have this anxiety because you have all these business things that you need to accomplish. I can't even tell you how many times I used to burn myself out, and same for John over our 16 years being entrepreneurs, because we try to do it all. You can have it all, but you cannot do it all. And time is your most precious commodity. Outside of building the personal brand, which was decision number one, but the decision to outsource and build teams and surround us with people that could cover our weaknesses was epic. Now, if you have not met John and I'm just going to tell you briefly today, we are 7-figure earners. We have a couple different businesses that we run. We have a very successful network marketing business. We also, of course, are building our training company. So this is the extension of My Lifestyle Academy, where our goal is to bring generic training. Our goal is to really just turn around and showcase our answers that took us 16 years to figure out. And over the last couple of years, we invested 6 figures into our outsourcing, our branding, our marketing education. And so if we could help you just cut down that learning curve of struggling and not knowing the answers and going through, you know, the trial and error experience that for many years John and I kind of like went through, we want to help you do that. So I want to welcome you. If this is the first time that we're hanging out together, we're going to give you a leg up on your competition, ladies and gents. All right, so let's dive in. Here's what we're going to discover inside this beautiful super training is how to be happier and more profitable, how to balance, because how many of us struggle with balance, you know, balancing the family, the business, and life. So how do you, number one, make a decision to outsource, because that is going to be huge for you. But then how do we get clarity on where to start? Because that could feel like a daunting task for sure. Also, I'm going to bring some clarity to you on what you should be outsourcing right now. And then we're going to dive pretty analytical. Like basically, I'm going to give you all of my trade secrets when it comes to building a team. So different type of outsourcers, how to find the best one, and ultimately how to build a massive business while enjoying an amazing life. So are you ready? For most of us, we suffer from what we call a superhero syndrome, meaning that you underestimate sometimes the bandwidth that you have, but you're so optimistic and you're so positive that you go, I'll figure it out. And then you put too much on your plate and you can crush it. But after a while, you notice that your battery is now on low, your bucket is empty, and you're ready to just kind of give up on this whole thing, right? So superhero syndrome is a real problem. It's a situation that all of us entrepreneurs deal with. So one of my mentors said this. He said, if you make a 6-figure income, and you don't have an assistant, you're crazy. And then another successful entrepreneur said this. He goes, the first year I hired a virtual assistant was the first year I made 6 figures. So for those of us that go, hey, I'm not even making six figures yet, or for those of us that go, dude, I already make six figures and I do have a lot going on, either way, I'm going to show you why it's valuable to get started if you don't have any kind of help just yet. So let's talk a little bit about the blueprint, all right? So the foundation to you crushing it inside your business and inside your family life, creating that lifestyle. The first thing we got to do is we got to cultivate the right mindset, because how many of us have realized that you can have the most amazing strategy, but if you do not believe that it can work for you, or you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to implement, and therefore you're not going to get the results. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cultivate the mindset that you need in order to succeed. Number two, we got to get organized, especially when we now bring people into our back offices and into our digital data. If you're disorganized, you're going to notice that not only are you wasting precious time every single day looking for stuff, maybe looking for your digital content because it's all over the place, it's unorganized, or now your assistants are lost. And that's a tragedy in itself. Now, the next step, securing your online assets. And then, of course, number four, we build a virtual team. So why outsource? Because you're the visionary of your business. In order for you to reach the level of success that is reserved for the top of your field, you have to retrain your brain. And instead of asking yourself, how can I learn this? Here's a better question. Is how can this get done with the least amount of effort and energy on my part? Now, to be clear, when we begin this conversation on outsourcing, I want you to know that we're talking about activities that are not your income producing activities, or there are activities that you're doing right now on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, that are not bringing happiness to your overall family and state, right? And so those are the activities that we're gonna now look and outsource. We need to find ways to work on our business instead of being in the weeds. So here's some myths about outsourcing. Is I can't afford to outsource. I can do it better, faster myself. VAs, virtual assistants, are going to make mistakes, or I won't be able to find someone to do what I want them to do at a level of quality that I expect. You got to take a look at what is your time worth on the hourly basis, and you can calculate that. So take, the income that you make right now divided by the amount of hours per week, per day, and you're going to know your number. So, and I'm going to teach you how you can outsource activities for as little as $4 an hour. So we got to snap out of this whole I can't afford to outsource. The thing about I can do it better or faster myself, let me teach you a motto that's really going to shift everything for you. It's not about perfection, it's about results. And if somebody can get the job done at 80% quality, it's better than you doing it at 100% quality. Does that make sense? So especially for those of us that get that burned out over and over and over again, and you drive yourself crazy because you have a never-ending to-do list, and therefore you can't enjoy your family, you can't enjoy what it is that you're doing, that's a huge problem. Remember, you are the CEO of your business. Let's write these 3 questions down because clarity is going to be really powerful for you. And when you really get to the bottom line of what are the activities that, number one, drive your business, we call them your income producing activities. So those income producing activities that move the needle in your business, you cannot outsource those activities. So we need to focus on you spending your energy on that. What drains your business? And then what are you avoiding in your business? Like how many of us go, dude, I haven't had chance to go through ATM Business Academy or Social Network Marketing Academy because I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. So you're not learning how to be today business owner, meaning you're not evolving with your skill set because you're caught up in the weeds. Make a list of everything that you do on a weekly basis, like from Monday morning till Sunday night. So you're gonna just do that brain dump. It's Awesome. Then you're going to go in and you're going to highlight your top 2 to 3 income producing activities. And then we need to figure out how to then take the rest of the stuff off your plate and put it on somebody else's plate. And you know what's crazy? Let me tell you a story about this exercise, because I bought this one particular outsourcing course, and it was yet again after I burned myself out. And you know how that is. When you burn yourself out, you're a little bit like bitchy, you know, to your kids and your husband, and that's not good, you know. So anyway, so I finally bit the bullet, bought this course, and this guy was like, listen, do this activity. And, you know, I go, I think I already know what it is. And it took me months to obey. This is why I love saying #obey, because you can hear it, but if you don't obey the exercise, you're going to miss out on some of the biggest breakthroughs. So finally, like reluctantly, I did this exercise. And can I tell you, it was like so eye-opening. I could not believe my eyes. It was crazy. It was like, you know, when somebody dumps a bucket of ice cold water on you and you go, oh my gosh, like stop it right now. I've been doing all of these things, and now because you can see it clearly, right? You snapped out of emotion and you woke up to reality, and now you go, all right, I get it now why I keep getting burnt out. And now it's clear to me, those are the activities as a CEO of my multi-million-dollar brand, my multi-million-dollar business. Those are the activities that only my talent can accomplish. And everything else, man, we gotta get it off our plate. Now I'm going to teach you how to troubleshoot once you have the clarity. Now that you made the list of things, you got clear with what it is that only you can do, meaning you cannot outsource your talents, your abilities, but how can we now begin to outsource the rest of that long laundry list? Okay, so 3 types of outsourcers. We got ongoing. Example would be a virtual assistant, right? That could come in and help you 10 hours a week. I recommend that's a really good place to start. Number 2, we now have project-based. So example here could be that, let's say you're going to do a social media upgrade and you're going to have some social media banners uplifted, but you do not have a creative bone in your body. I'm going to show you how for as low as $5, you can outsource graphics that are professionally made. The 3rd type of work is to surround yourself with systems. This could be auto posting on social media, email marketing, capture page system, some sort of CRM. We need to start simple, and we need to troubleshoot your main anxieties in the beginning. 2 types of jobs. We got offline jobs. We got online jobs. Every major organization thinks globally. So what if you and I, as small business owners, elevated our mindset to the mindset of companies like Coca-Cola, and they think globally? So nowadays, the internet, we live in technology age, which means we can hire amazing talent globally at fraction of the cost here compared to the prices here in America. So more on that later. Let's give you a couple of resources if you do need to outsource and you need somebody local. So here's a couple different websites for you can take a look at. So examples could be cleaning, photography, shopping, accounting, videography, event planning. Let's talk a little bit about virtual. So we have general virtual assistant, graphic designers, SEO, web support if you're a little bit more advanced when it comes to that, ghostwriter, video editor. I have all those people on my team. Like, there's no way that John and I would be able to do everything that we do today without our amazing team. And get this, we started just by hiring one virtual assistant. This was 4 or 5 years ago, for 10 hours a week, because I was so nervous. I was such a control freak. And I used to have a motto of, if I want something done right, I better do it myself. And that motto had me working 100+ hours a week, and I constantly had anxiety because I had a never-ending to-do list. But once I started to open up my mind to, you know what if there was somebody out there that loved this task that brought me anxiety? I'm just gonna, dip my toe in the water and let's see how I like it. And can I tell you, I hired my first virtual assistant and then I got addicted. Like, then I go, oh my gosh, where has she been my whole life? And now my virtual team, you guys get this, they handle between, on a slow week, 100 hours of work to hundreds of hours of work. That's kind of crazy, right? So John and I could focus on our kids. We can spend time with the family, and all is good in the hood. I hope this is helping you. Okay, so reality check. There's no such thing as a super VA. Like a couple of years ago, that's what I wanted to hire. I wanted to hire somebody that could do the web stuff, the graphic stuff, the virtual stuff, like, responding to emails or helping with social media. So there's no such thing. So what you may want to consider doing is doing what John and I did, and that's hiring multiple virtual assistants, depending on the kind of tasks that you need to outsource. So let's dive into some different resources that you have at your fingertips. Number one, how many of you have ever used Fiverr.com? Quick and easy tasks done for $5. You can search different types of work that is available for you to get done. You just want to take a look at the type of work they've done, their rating, right? Take a look and you can get cranking with this website. Here's a website that I use. I love it, Upwork.com. It's a global online work platform where businesses and independent professionals connect and collaborate remotely. Some examples of tasks is managerial tasks, WordPress, customer support, research, long repetitive tasks, admin work, and much more. For those of you guys that are in the place in your business where you need a lot of graphics designed on a consistent basis, you can find somebody on Upwork. I just happened to find my designer who I love on 99 Designs, and it's considered to be the #1 marketplace for graphic designs, logo design, web design, other designs, all kinds of designs. You can check it out. For those of you that are network marketers, and let's say you're not using the ATM system that John and I teach, check out myduplicationacademy.com. Awesome, easy to use. Now, John and I do not use it today inside our network marketing business. I'm going to be very apparent with you because we use the ATM system, but I know there's a lot of you guys that are not using Facebook groups. So it's something that we co-founded a couple years ago. Pretty awesome, great CRM, and it's really, really affordable. Okay, now let me shift gears with you and give you a couple of tools that will help you when it comes to your productivity and also when it comes to organization and management. So first things first, Gene.com. Gene, that's fun to say, right? It has a certain ring to it. So Gene, what it does, it allows you to capture your screen, and you can do it in just like a screen capture. You could do audio, you could do video. And the reason why you want to have resources like that, it's a free tool, is because when you begin to work with a virtual team or virtual assistant or graphic designer, you need to be able to effectively communicate what changes need to be made, what it is that you want done, and clarity is going to equal power. How many of you guys use Dropbox, or do you use Google Drive? You need to not only like back up all the content that you're creating, but also it's really a smart strategy to simplify the way that you create, share, collaborate, especially as you begin to build your team. We are a huge fan of Dropbox. That's what we use. Skype is how I communicate with my global staff. I also now do a lot via Facebook Messenger, pretty awesome. And Asana, basically it's team tracking, team management, and task management free tool that could be really useful for you when you begin to outsource. Evernote is another good tool as well. Yes, 100%. For those of us that still need a little bit more clarity on how to outsource, the mindset to outsource, this book right here really rocked my world and got me even more excited about building a bigger virtual team. So check it out, mylifestyleacademy.com Outsourcing.com/freedom, and it's going to redirect you to the Amazon link and you can buy the book. I recommend that you actually buy the book versus getting it on Audible because he gets pretty analytical, and some of the stuff, it's going to be really good for you to see and actually go through. Let's go ahead and get organized once and for all, because what's going to happen for you is you will be more efficient, you will be more effective. You want to have your assets centralized. So number one, you never have to worry about losing them. You can access your files from anywhere. And then of course, let me repeat myself, when you begin to build your team, you gotta have a system so your team also knows where everything is. Ideally, each room in your house has a certain purpose. So if you go to the kitchen, you know where the plates are, you know where to find your silverware, you know where the food is. Same with your closet. But imagine instead of you walking into your closet and being able to get dressed, you go, I can't remember where my socks are. I think I left it in the garage, or where are my shoes? And a lot of times, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but this was for sure true for me a couple years ago, but that's kind of how my digital data was. It was all over the place. And when I would go to Outsource, I would think to myself, I know I took a really awesome selfie that my graphic designer could use, but I don't know, is it on this cell phone or that cell phone? Did I upload it in the computer? And then you end up wasting a lot of time searching for content that you already created. So I know it's not a sexy topic, but I'm telling you right now, if your digital assets right now, your videos, your pictures, you have different phones, different computers, stuff is not synchronized all together. And again, tools like Dropbox really help you get the job done. Dude, you gotta slow down. You gotta take one step back to be able to take 5 steps forward. And this right here is huge. Now, another big point, listen, more storage equals big success. Always, always, always buy devices that have the biggest storage. If you have an outdated cell phone, outdated computer, you need to step up your game and you need to upgrade your assets. You can run a multi-million-dollar empire today from your cell phone or from your Mac computer, so let's not be stingy when it comes to memory. And this is something I wish I would have learned a couple years ago before I bought my first Mac, because right when you go to buy it at Best Buy, they say, oh, you don't really need a whole lot of storage, just get this one, 0.5 gigabyte, that is plenty. But what they don't realize, for us entrepreneurs who are going to be creating content and maybe you're going to be doing some video editing, you need to have as much storage as possible. Because why? You never want to limit your creativity and your genius to a device you have. That is just a tragedy. Your digital assets are way too valuable, period. So let us elevate our mindset when it comes to that. Getting organized, a couple of really power tips for you here. What you want to do is gather all of your digital files, put them in one place, like an external hard drive. And then you can take that and you can also back it up virtually as well, and then create some sort of centralized system where you have all of your files in the cloud. So you can access them from any computer you have, from your cell phone. You can do what's called Dropbox Selective Sync. How many of you use that feature? Because I love it. So imagine you took all of your digital data and you organized it. And then when certain files that you constantly work with, you can set up that selective sync. So not all of that data is downloaded into the computer. So you can get something like WD Elements, that's a hard drive, right, where you can have all of your data, but then you have it also in the Dropbox. So let me give you an example. I actually created a team folder inside Dropbox, which means that my team has access to all of this data. So if they need logos, if they need pictures, if they need PowerPoints or any kind of stuff that we've already created, the picture quotes, anything, right? Imagine if you could create that type of filing system. Check this out. When you are on Dropbox, you download this to your computer. And then when you choose the selective sync, You'll only sync the folders that don't take a whole lot of memory. Initially, when I created the system, I didn't realize that when you download Dropbox on your computer, what happens is it actually then downloads all of that digital data. And if you have a lot of video files and picture files, like it can take up all of the storage on your computer. And what you want to do is choose that selective sync and uncheck the folders that should not belong on your computer to slow down your work. So you don't want to hire an assistant and then give your assistant passwords. That's probably not a wise decision, not because you do not trust your assistant, but because they might be in a different part of the world. Maybe they are using an internet connection that's not secure. So you really have to create vaults of security around everything that you do. 1Password, awesome option. LastPass is what we use inside our businesses, and I love it. But basically, let me explain to you the concept of how it works. You install the extension on your browser, and then you create an account, and it's free. So you can get started with it for free. And it's cool because you can have different vaults of passwords when it comes to working with your virtual staff. So now all you got to do is give them access to a vault of your passwords so they're able to log into whatever websites that they need to log into, but they never actually see your login credentials. And that way, if that virtual assistant doesn't work out, it's very simple. All you do is you just remove them from being able to have access to that folder. So General Virtual Assistant, this is actually probably the best place to get started outside of, getting like a bookkeeper or hiring somebody to help you with your house or something like that. This is going to be ultimately the best communication course you can take while you learn how to delegate. It's really going to elevate your game like crazy. And also, this is the best way to get addicted to outsourcing. This is a no-brainer. All right, so how do we work with Upwork.com? This is my favorite site of choice. They serve as a middleman. Every Monday, to give an example, you're going to be able to go in and see the report of your virtual assistant. So when your virtual assistant works, they have to log into the portal, Upwork portal, and then that website is going to take random screenshots to make sure that they're actually working. So see, this is an example. This is a screenshot of my virtual assistant and what they're working on. So what's kind of cool, in the beginning, when you first hire someone, you could really be diligent, keep an eye on what they're doing, how are they doing it, and then on Mondays, they'll give you a report. So this, let's call it Mary. So Mary worked for 6 hours. You can take a look at the digital diary, and then Upwork is going to take money out of your account. So they'll charge you for 6 hours of work. And if you're paying your assistant $5, let's say Upwork takes 25 cents. Like, don't quote me on the numbers, but they take a small little fee to basically service you, to make you feel nice and fuzzy and good about working with the staff. Every time I go to hire a new VA, there's a couple of things that I am non-negotiable on, and that's eye for details, excellent English, reading and writing, ability to follow instructions. Organization is huge, ability to prioritize. When you go to post your job, Upwork gives you a couple different options for the skill level that you're looking for. And you'll see a choice of beginner, intermediate, or expert. And it's kind of crazy because when you take a look at the range of how much you can hire that help for per hour, it's going to be a huge range, right? Because we're talking globally. I always stick with intermediate. So I don't want to have somebody that's just getting started. They don't know. I have to train them from scratch. Nor do I care about expert, because a lot of times that's going to be a lot more expensive. But intermediate, I found for us, that's the sweet spot. Couple things. Look for enthusiasm, work ethic, desire to learn, quick responses. You can review their portfolio. So when people begin to apply for your job, you can actually go in and see the rating on a scale of 1 to 5. You can see how many hours they worked on the platform. I usually go with somebody that worked for at least 100 hours, because then there's going to be some feedback from other employers that hired that person before. Also, take their hourly rate, list it with a grain of salt. I found that sometimes they'll post, let's say, $15 an hour, but when you take a look at the profile and the previous jobs that they've had, on average, they were making about $5 an hour. So then if it's somebody that you like the type of work they've done, then you can negotiate the hourly price. I love outsourcing to Philippines. Matter of fact, majority of my team is in Philippines. Once you identify a couple of candidates that you go, okay, these ones are from Philippines. Again, that's my country of choice because most of them are trained, like English is what they're taught in school. So they already have amazing proficiency in English. So that's pretty important for us, right? They're also very humble, and that culture, they're very service oriented. So zoom in on a couple of candidates, message each of them to schedule an interview, choose 2 to 3. You can assign a simple task to, let's say, 2 to 3 people, and then check the quality of their work. You can tell a lot by doing that right there. Okay, so managing your team, you can use Skype, you can use Asana, Dropbox. We talked a little bit about Jane. We talked a little bit about LastPass or 1Password. Really powerful. When you create that infrastructure, it's awesome. Oh my goodness, stop it. I cannot believe we just covered all of that. So thanks for being here. I'm so proud of you. Let's go. Let's implement. Let's turn this education into action so you can actually create that life that you've always dreamed of. There's that next level to you, and you cannot get there alone. So let's get started. Let's crush it. Cheers. I love you. Thanks for being here.